if you could do one thing in your life and you weren't getting paid for it, but that thing put a smile on your face every single day, what would it be? My gift took me in front of Asantehene, who's like the king of, of the Ashanti kingdom in Ghana. It took me in front of King Charles. You won't see the benefit straight away because it hurts to wait, man. I'm not gonna lie.
This man like Dan. Come on! Welcome to Melanated Proud, but this channel is all about inspiring, showcasing, and empowering the black community. Today, got a special guest. Listen, this guy doesn't know how much he's helped me, because like I'm even gonna share some insight as to like how much even seeing your work actually had an impact on me like during lockdown. So I'll let you know eventually. But before we continue, if you want to be a part of this journey, just make sure you subscribe, comment below as well, because I want you guys to be more interactive in it, because this is going to be a special one, innit? So without further ado, this guy is a triple threat, man, quadruple threat. I don't know what to call you. Musician, actor, entertainer, comedian. Yeah, you want to say your 9 to 5 as well, but project manager. Listen, I'm gonna say it all in it. But your MC. I'm pretty sure there's many things that I've missed out as well, innit? But I'll let you explain that yourself, innit? But without further ado, I'd like to introduce the big man, Mr. Andy Sarfo.
Do I get to clap for myself as well?
Clap for yourself, man.
Yo, Dan, what's up, man? You
good, man?
Yeah. Hey, guys. So it's your guy, Andy Sarfo. Simply Andy, aka, and the government, we keep that only for the PAYE. But no, I'm happy to be here, man. Yeah, I think all-round entertainer probably encompasses everything I do. So yeah,
how do you describe yourself? When someone asks you, what do you say?
I say I'm an entertainer. I'll probably say entertainer and a motivator. I'll probably say, yeah, and then everything kind of just fits under that, isn't it? Obviously, there's acting, there's singing, there's a little bit of rapping, there's product. You kind of said it again. You kind of said it already, so I don't want to say it again. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I believe that I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian, and the Bible talks about the talents when everyone was given talents, and I feel that sometimes like God was very like overly fair with me. He gave me a lot of things to play with. And so I can't do myself an injustice and do God some injustice by not kind of exploring these things. So I try and tap into all of those avenues whenever I can or whenever it calls for me to do so. So yeah, I'll say all around entertainer.
Yeah, man, because like you haven't limited yourself at all, man. Like maybe some people at times maybe said you're doing a lot, but I feel like you're trying to use all of your talents.
Yeah, that's the way I see it. I mean that's been my drive, or that's the focus in that. Well, at some point, like God gave me these things in it. Do you know what I mean? So, do I like put some of them in the sleeper, and not tap into any of them? So for me, I believe that my life is ordered in it. So, whichever facets of my life was called on or called upon, it answered. Do you know what I mean? So. Yeah, if it was music, I was in the studio and I was recording, I was helping people record, and I was doing some vocal arrangements and whatever because it called for it. And then if another day it was called for me to host like a wedding or a birthday or a party or funeral or whatever, I was called upon and I answered that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's all part of me, and I try my best to execute whenever I get the opportunity to do so, man. Okay, my English is English, and I swear, bro, it's crazy.
Even let's just rewind a bit, innit? So you're from where? Tell us.
So originally Ghanaian. I grew up in Ghana.
I originally Ghanaian.
Yeah, originally. Do you know what I mean? Originally, I'm from Ghana, West Africa. Grew up there till I was 10 years old, and then I came to the UK. So I was a fob, fresh off the boat. And it was always funny for me when they said fresh off the boat, because I was like, I was on a plane. Like it's actually a fop. But anyway, came into the UK and my parents dumped me. Well, not dumped me because I was with them. We were in Hackney, East London.
Come on, promised land, innit?
Do you know what I mean? That's the holy land right there. Do you know what I mean? And I was in Hackney for a large part of my life. And then obviously went off to college. I was still in Hackney actually during college. I went off to university in Surrey, Kingston, Surrey. And then
what was you studying?
I did media technology. Yeah, I did media technology because I had a passion for performance from a very young age. It's crazy. I mean, I recorded my first record or album when I was 12 years old. It was in the native language tree. Yeah, man. And it was a gospel Christian album. Big up to Uncle Dan Corsa, Daddy Dan Corsa, my OG. And my gosh, PX90, the drummer, amazing. He helped as well, but he's passed away. Rest in peace, Uncle KB. And yeah, so I released that when I was 12. Did the rounds, visited loads of churches with my dad performing, and my dad never gave me a cut. He never gave me any piece of that money, boy. I remember saying to him after performance, I was like, Dad, like, where did we, people came and put money on my head, like, it's a big head in it. They put a lot of money on my head. I was like, Dad, so, what am I going to do? You just like some McDonald's and that's it. We'll buy you McDonald's and that's all. But anyway, yeah, so I was in Ghana, came to the UK in Hackney, and I've been in Hackney since then, and now I'm in the beautiful part of South London at the moment. So yeah.
Wait, so did you know you always wanted to pursue that sort of field? Or did you have other options?
Do you know what? I didn't really know what I wanted to. I wouldn't call it I wanted to pursue. Do you know what I mean? It was like I found myself doing, and it caused like a ripple effect. And then since I started doing at the age of 12 and performing at the age of 12, it actually has never stopped. So in my mind, if we're talking about a purpose driven life or whatever, I'm actually living in because I just found myself doing it. I loved it, and I could see that it was impacting people's lives, and I haven't stopped. And so yeah, that's where I'm at the moment.
So what advice do you have for those, let's say for example, that also don't know what to do? Or their sort of career path?
This is a tough one, isn't it? In theory, it's about thinking about what you're good at, and investing a bit of time in it and effort, and eventually it will glow up and it will blow up. Does that make sense? But in practice, I think in practice it's still the same. I think you just have to be very intentional and figure out something. A question that I asked a lot of the young people that I work with is if you could do one thing in your life and you weren't getting paid for it, but that thing put a smile on your face every single day, what would it be? And if you could answer that question, then I guarantee that if you do that thing, it will pay you more than you've ever imagined. Does that make sense?
It makes too much sense.
Does that make sense? Yeah?
Deep, yeah.
Because it's like we shouldn't do anything for money. Number one, right? That was like a viral thing, and it like we shouldn't do anything for money, because money can go, and when money's gone, if you're doing something for money and the money dries up, then you don't want to do it anymore. But if you're doing something because you enjoy it, because it's something that you really really love to do, like like. The laws of the world says that it will attract, because the Bible says your gift will make room for you and it'll bring you in the presence of kings and queens. That's your gift. So if you operate in your gift, it will like take you in front of kings. Like my gift took me in front of Asantehene, who's like the king of, of the Ashanti kingdom in Ghana. It took me in front of King Charles. Do you know what I'm saying? So. And that's my gift. It wasn't my professional capacity. It wasn't what I'm hired to do. Do you see what I'm saying? It was actually the things that I did not thinking about money first. And that's what's kind of brought me. Again, that's if you care about stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Because who is King Charles in it? He's a guy. Like, do you know what I mean?
Who is King Charles?
As in he's a human being. No, like he's a human being in it. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm Ghanaian. I'm a prince from both sides, from my father's side and from my mother's side. So I'm also royalty. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And on top of that, I'm a royal priesthood as far as God is concerned. So Prince Charles and who is Asante, but my gift has made room for me to be in their presence. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so to answer the question, what I would say to somebody who's trying to figure out what they're doing is just you know, whatever your hands find doing, whatever you find your hands doing, like, do it to the best of your ability, number one. And number two, if your hands isn't doing anything, it's about figuring out what is that one thing that you would do if you weren't being paid for, but would put a smile on your face for a long time. And that thing you should try to pursue.
Wait, so as you was navigating yourself through all of this, like, was you doubted by maybe like people close to you, or were they almost like trying to direct you elsewhere?
No, I mean it's thankfully I've not had that story. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember, like I say, so when I was 12 years old, I was at church with my dad. Rest in peace as well, Dad. You know, we were at church, Calvary Charismatic. Big up to Bishop Francis Sarfo. What's this? I'm just shouting out. I'm shouting out loads of people. Like I'm on an award show. How long have we been recording for? And I was like, already I'm shouting out 20 people. And we were at church, and I was we were tidying up, we were cleaning the chair, like the church, like mopping or like hoovering or something. And while we were hoovering, I started singing. I was just singing, and the pastor walked past and he heard me and he said, "Oh, Andy, that's very good. You have a wonderful voice. You should do praise and worship on Friday." And Friday came and I did praise and worship, and like it was a vibe. It was a turn up. So then it just started from there. So since the age of 12 till now, actually, I ain't gonna tell you my age and that. Do you know what I mean? Black dog, crack dog. And it's like I haven't stopped. And I think the reason why doubt sets in is when people around you or your loved ones do not see the fruit of your labor. So if you're a musician and no one is singing your songs, or you know your family haven't gone somewhere and heard a song that you've done, they're gonna think, like, what are you doing? But actually, at the age of 12, I recorded this. It was a cassette tape. Nobody knows what a cassette is because everyone's like young and that. It was a cassette, released it, and it did well. Like, I know it did well because my dad chopped very well. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, there's been fruits of the art and the gift since the age of 12. And so it's very hard to doubt that. Do you know what I mean? Because like, oh, well, I did a song and then everyone was singing it. Or I was in a play and then everyone came and watched it and it sold out. Or I did this and everyone, do you know? So there's been fruits of labor in, you know, in some regard. And it's not to sound arrogant, but I haven't had that kind of story where, you know, I was a nobody and nobody believed in me, and
that struggle,
you know, like, you know, I mean, that struggle life, and you know, I slept in my car for like, no, I had a house to stay in, and everybody. But it's important to say that though, innit? Because like sometimes people want to force that narrative, innit? Yeah, everyone's got their own story, innit? Like everyone's got their own story, and yeah, I've just had a really, really good village around me. Do you know what I mean? That knew that actually, now, Andy, like when you're on stage and you do this, like I can definitely see that you are meant to do this, because you know, like one thing that really encouraged me. I remember I was doing a wedding in the Caribbean, and there was a guest there, a millionaire guy, and you know, he pulled me to one side and he said, "Do you know what? Yeah, you're all right, you know." And I said, "Oh, thanks." And he said, do you know what? My overheads every month is like over 40K. That's my overheads. Like bills, kids' private school, everything. Over 30-something, 40 grand a month. And for the hour that you were on stage, you took my mind away. You made me forget my worries and my troubles. You were meant to do this. That's a random guy I've never met in my life. So it's quite encouraging to hear stuff like that. But I haven't stopped. I've never stopped. I've continued, because I've just felt like it's something that I was supposed to do. And yeah, man.
Even when you think about the time you was doing it, like there wasn't really many people to look to in terms of inspiration.
Yeah.
Well, UK wise.
Yeah.
So how did you even picture yourself doing these things? How did you even do these things? 'Cause you know how people say, oh, maybe you need a mentor or you need some sort of inspiration, but it's almost like you had to just flow with it, just roll with it.
Yeah. I don't. Do you know what it is? It's like. So after my Tree Ghanaian album at the age of 12, I went off to college, and then when I got to college, we started like a singing group. But I was also part of a rap group at the same time, and it was all gospel, like Christian music and stuff. And I remember as part of my rap group, what would happen is, so I'm 16, 17 now, whatever. They would always push me to the front to introduce the songs. So I didn't know that I had comedy as part of my armor, as part of my gift list. Does that mean I didn't know that I had comedy as part of it? So, even though I'd run a few jokes in secondary school, you know, cussing matches or you're damn, nah, you're damn, do you know what I mean? Or whatever, like those kind of things.
Yeah, man, like,
do you know your mum? Yeah, but what about my mum though? Yeah, but your mum is dumb. Yeah, your mum is a wrestler, or whatever. Do you know, all of those kind of dumb things, right? So, I get to college and then I go into singing in a rap group. So in this rap group, whenever we had a performance, they would push me forward to introduce the songs. So by way of introducing the songs, I'll tell a few jokes and kind of be a bit more observant in how the audience were acting, and I'll do that. So in me doing that, it meant that I was able to make people laugh. Does that make sense? So then it just kind of like unlocked different kind of gifts that I had. So the church I was in, they were very encouraging, because we would have youth nights, or we would have like events for young people, and it was like, oh, Andy, you go and you host the show, you know, and so everything was kind of set up for me to thrive, because do you know yes, I wasn't looking at, you know, like actually no, tell a lie, Richard Blackwood was killing it online. Not online, it was not online. Richard Blackwood was doing very, very well, and for me, he's one of like my favorite, you know, UK entertainers. I would see Richard Blackwood comedy, his music. I was seeing all of that stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? And then, most importantly as well, I was looking at the Americans and seeing what they were doing over there. But it wasn't necessarily like, oh, let me, you know, model what I'm doing after them, because I genuinely didn't know what it was. I was just doing something that I enjoyed without getting paid. And then later I got paid.
You know now how the social media, there's maybe a comparison. You can see what everyone's doing in it. Like, how different is it to like then, like, and what's the cons of that?
So can you say that quick question again?
But basically, when you think about what helped you was that you was able to just focus on yourself, having that tunnel vision. Like, what do you think people are finding difficult right now because of the fact that there is all this social media accessible to them? Do you feel like that's actually hindering their ability to actually focus on what's actually unique about themselves?
No, I mean, do you know what? I think every season or every time kind of presents it's like its benefits. Do you know what I mean? What wasn't so great when we were doing it was that it took a long time for people to see what you were doing. Does that make sense? And so you may have been really good in East London, but no one knew you in South. But thankfully, with social media now, you can actually, you know, put something out and everyone in the world can see what you're doing. I do believe that there isn't, you know, there's nothing new under the sun. It's been done before. And so, I don't see any negatives. I'm just grateful in the time that I came up in, and I'm thankful for the things that were available to me and the things that weren't available to me. Do you see what I'm saying? What's great is I'm available in this time, so actually I benefit twice. I benefit from a time where social media wasn't a big thing, and where social media is a big thing now. So I'm like, oh yeah. But people alive now, or people doing it now, would never know that actually it was about YouTube once upon a time. Or they wouldn't know that it was about actually a video going viral because you sent it through BlackBerry. Do you know what? Or like it went around. Does that mean no one knows? Do you see what I'm saying? So yeah, I think people are living a good time now for sure because whatever you're trying to do, more people have access to see what you've got to see, what you've got to do. And I don't think it's about being unique because like we're on a podcast, there's loads of podcasts, you see what I'm saying? But I think it's about, you know, the message and what is also being said and by who is saying the message. Does that make sense? Yeah. And there's room in the universe. I'm not some universe guy because I'm a Christian, but there is space in the universe for every planet and every star. And they don't like crash. And even if they do, it doesn't cause like crazy harm. Like, does that make sense? So actually everyone can be who they are, without feeling like they have to copy somebody else. But even if you have to copy somebody else, it's fine because there's space in the universe for everyone to thrive.
Bro, what books are you reading, man?
What do you mean?
the wealth of wisdom. These analogies are different, bro.
Since I lost my hair, bro. That's the thing, bro.
This is different, man.
Like, bro, I lost my hair and replaced it with wisdom. That's like, what books are you reading?
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
God is good.
When you think about your journey as well, though,
yeah.
What would you say have been the challenges?
What's been the challenges? I would say what's been challenging at times is knowing which one of my talents to step out with. Does that make sense? So, you know, I hate saying this because then it kind of contradicts what I said earlier, but you know, it was said by the great rapper Jay-Z, like a gift and a curse or something. Like, I can't remember what it is, right, or how he said it, but it's like you could be so gifted that you could be handicapped from actually launching. Do you know what I mean? Because you're like, oh, I can draw, I can paint, I can dance, I can sing, I can rap. Oh my gosh, what should I do? You know, so at times, thankfully, you know, through prayer and kind of like how I felt about certain things, I've known how to kind of maneuver. But in some seasons as well, it's been quite difficult. You know, for example, in 2010, I had an opportunity to go to America to tour with my music. But I also had like a massive show that was coming up in the UK, and it meant that if I had gone to America, I would have missed that show. And I had to make a decision. I guess it's not that unique. We always have to make decisions, right? You know, you always have to make decisions. And I made the decision to not go to America because I was kind of scared because like gun crime. I was just like, whoa, like I don't want to die. It was very naive of me, whatever, and I didn't go. And some of the people that went on that tour actually did really well, and they were able to get their music out a little bit more and win over a new type of audience. I missed out on that opportunity. It burned a little bit because I was like, oh man. And
if only.
Yeah, it was like if only, and it was crazy as well because that one was not a paid. It wasn't a paid gig. It was like it was a tour, and they would pay for like, you know, your upkeep, but not like money, bread where you could kind of like, you know, hold on to. But the UK one was money. I chose that. I chose the UK gig, and I got paid. It was alright. 2011, it wasn't like big money. But I didn't choose that gig. And it did kind of bother me. I was like, man, imagine if anyway. And I just kind of just shut it off because a prayer that I've always prayed for is that God would align my path. So whatever's mine will be mine, and whatever's not, no matter how attractive or no matter how amazing it is, it just won't be mine. And I'll kind of have that contentment to just say, look, God, I'm cool. It's painful, but I'm cool.
Yeah. Well, so up until now, would you say like you don't really have any regrets? Like, are you at peace with all those things, or do you feel like part of you still sometimes like, oh, if only?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even call them regrets, man, because it's like I think life is about making impacts. Do you know what I mean? And as long as impact has been made, it's cool. You know, I woke up one day and I thought, rah, like if James Brown didn't get up and do what he did, Michael Jackson wouldn't have done what he did. If Michael Jackson didn't do what he did, Usher wouldn't have done what he did. If Usher didn't do what he did, Omarion, Chris Brown, Justin Timberlake, they wouldn't have done what they did. So it's about impact. Just do whatever you've been sent on earth to do. And when you felt like you can't be bothered or you're tired or things ain't going your way, actually, no, you have to, because it's not about you. It's about the next person that's coming up. It's the next person that needs to see you do what you do, and, you know, how accessible it is. Do you know what I mean? For them to, you know, because we can only become what we can see, right? What we dream about is what we can see. So if you don't know what to dream, it's difficult to become it. If you've never seen an astronaut before, you can't dream it. I dreamt and I was an astronaut. You might not know the word for it, but the moment you dream it, it's possible to achieve it, right? So if I operate in my gift and I come out and I'm doing what I'm doing, I give more people an opportunity to see what they could possibly do and what they could become. And so that's kind of been my drive. So when I felt like this is long, like I'm tired, I enjoy it, but it's tiring. I'm like, no, but there's a new MC, or there's a new comedian, there's a new presenter that's to be born, like, and they have to see you, bro. Like, yeah, just carry on.
When you even think about what you just said, you've been doing it for a while, and so you've seen like different generations being birthed as well.
Yeah,
so
man. Yeah.
Do you well, was that ever something on your mind when you thought about having longevity, the pressure to maybe be present, the pressure to grow, the pressure to even just continue? Because I guess, like you said, there's many options. There's many options, and if you've been doing something for a period of time, a part of you might get bored. A part of you might feel like, you know, what's the next challenge? Like, so were those any of your experiences?
Yeah, there's about 10 questions of what you just said.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm trying to
start anyway.
I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, I've seen loads of people. I've seen loads of people come and basically smash it and do amazingly well. And what I've always known is, and what I always remind myself is, I'm not in competition with anyone. Do you know what I mean? So your journey is different to mine, and my journey is different to yours. So I've seen a lot of people come and they've done very well, and there's some of them are still doing very, very well. And I'm really, really proud and really happy for them, because I remember the times when they weren't where they are now. Do you know what I mean? And so it just goes to show that there is room for everybody. Does that make sense? So, yeah, there's definitely been, you know, you asked the question earlier about, start, or how, I'm going to paraphrase the question. It was about like how, you know, what was missing, or mentors or something like that. And I felt, after university, I released a song called Bibles, and there was no system around it. Do you know what I mean? There was no, like, you know, there was no label. There was no, like, right now in the music space, like, and also for years there's been systems. There's been like, you've got a label, you've got artists, you release music, you get distribution, and then it kind of repeats itself, right? Rinse and repeat. And I didn't know that when we were doing Bibles, myself and Vic Tizzle. And so we structure, that's the word I'm looking for. So in terms of structure, it would have been amazing to have maybe somebody that forced themselves onto us to kind of say, guys, look, what you guys have is something really cool. This is what we need to do. Let's put some structure to it. Does that make sense? And in that case, yeah, I'll say it would have probably changed the direction of how music is at the moment, especially in the gospel space. But back then, I don't think I mean, big up to Awake Records. Lucas Langdon, rest in peace. He definitely had a structure, had a system. But I just wish somebody kind of sat me down and said, "Yo, what you're doing is really cool. But what we need to do is we need a plan, and we need to do this." And I guess on the way, there's been plans that we put together. But I mean, if someone has done it before, it makes things easier. You save a lot of time. But if you haven't and you're just kind of figuring it out yourself, then it means that you're actually the pioneer that gets to make the mistakes, and everybody else gets to learn from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. So would you say that's something that you do now, like in terms of like advising other people?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few younger brothers that call me and say, "Yo, Andy, I'm thinking about doing this. Like, what do you think?" And then if I feel I'm qualified to respond, I'll give a response, and if not, I'll go and grab some information from my networks, and I'll just say, "Yo, so for example, hey Andy, I've got a deal, and they want to sign a single, but they want to give me like 50 grand." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. How do you feel?" And do you know what I mean? It's like, all right, let me think about that for you. And then you look at the song, you listen to the song, you're like, nah, this song is too good. 50 grand is not enough. But actually, what might be a good thing is, because I've heard your other songs, go and sign this deal, because they're going to push. They're going to put a lot of, they're going to put the machine behind you and push you as an artist. So if you sacrifice this one song for their marketing campaign, and as soon as that marketing campaign is over, you release your own songs off the back of what they've done, then you kind of benefit from that. Does that make sense? So I'm not saying that's like an exact conversation that I would have had, but this is the kind of insight that I provide for my younger brothers that call me for a lot of advice and stuff.
Oh, it's good, man.
But I didn't have anyone to call back in the day. Like, it was great. It's crazy when I think about it. I'm like, who would I have called that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's mad, and like you've gone on to so many things as well. Like, when you even reflect, what would you say are some of your proudest moments? That's how you know there's bears. Like, mine's just
no, it's crazy. It's
there's so many, innit?
Proudest moments, man. Proudest moments in entertainment, right? So I had a show called The Adventures of Simply Andy years ago, and like my mum, rest in peace, mum. She was like a big fan of mine, like my greatest fan, And I remember when I was doing that show, she went to Dorchester Market and sold tickets for me. That's my mum. Like, she was a ride or die like that, And the proudest moment was being on stage and looking out onto the front row and seeing my mum in this like 600 seated venue, sold out, packed out venue, and my mum was there to see that. Yeah, so that I would say that's one of my that's a proud moment for me. Yeah,
that's special, man. That's special.
Yeah,
like I feel like for me as well. Before, when I saw entertainment, I saw it as like entertainment. I never looked into it as deep as to how it actually helps people.
Right.
So even for me, let's say me at the Banjos, obviously, top man. Yeah, man. That was that time ago. Oh yeah, let's speak about that in a bit. That was that time ago, yeah.
Yeah.
But lockdown, for me personally, I haven't even told you this. For me personally, 2020, that was probably one of my most challenging years. Damn. And like in a nutshell, I'll just tell you, like, health wise, it was hard, innit? So at this point, I wasn't even able to look at screens. So my eyes were just shut throughout the whole time. So like this was before lockdown even occurred. So then when lockdown actually happened and everyone's inside, I'm just trying to find stuff to watch, innit? Or listen to, shall I say. Then eventually I heard Meet the Banjos on Netflix. Oh, okay, cool. Played it now. Yeah. All now, I don't know who's who, like, because I'm just listening. Like, I'm just listening. I'm
as
like,
in you couldn't see?
I couldn't see. Like I could still see, but not on an electronic screen.
Okay.
Because it'd be burning my eyes in it. So like,
I see.
Had to keep my eyes closed. So I'll just losing weight, etc., etc.
Right,
but then hearing you lot on the bruv, you don't understand, like
yeah, man.
it actually helped me so much, man. Because like I wouldn't say I was depressed or I had low mood, but I was definitely like not myself in it.
Yeah.
And that got me through lockdown a lot. And eventually when my eyes got a bit better, I was able to actually see faces. Like I was like, right, like okay, these are funny. Like you and Funke were doing your thing. Cause I was like, right, it's my man. Because obviously you're on other stuff as well, innit?
Yeah.
Because the last time I watched that show was time ago.
Yeah.
So I had forgot characters and everything in it.
Yeah.
And so for me, it really just taught me about how deep this entertainment thing is. Like it's deep, man. Like you guys are actually helping those that are down, that are broken hearted.
Yeah.
That generally need some sort of joy. Like you were saying about the millionaire you mentioned. Even though he had other things to do with, like your performance actually gave him peace of mind. Yeah. And so for me, like it was just very like powerful. So obviously when I saw you come to work, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, nice. Because like, yeah, man, you definitely did help me get through that year, man. Like it was a hard one, like proper.
Praise God, man.
Thank you for that, innit? Like, so yeah, thought I'd let you know that one.
That's humbling, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, Dan, man. Yeah, do you know what? It's I think it's rare that, you know, when you start something, you know what the outcome is. You can have like you can have an objective, like, oh yeah, we know we want this to do this. But when you know, and it's crazy, when we were shooting Meet the Other Banjos, big up to Deborah and Andrew. Oh, sorry, Andrew's got a book actually. And he quit his job as a trader as a real trader, not like in the house trader. Like he was a proper trader. You know what a trader is, like stocks and stuff. So to basically fund this project. And I remember we sat down. I was hosting a show. Can't remember what show it was, and Andrew was in the audience. And he saw me and he says, "Yo, Andy, bro, you're that guy. I've got a project. We're doing a project, and I want to invite you. I'll not bring you on board as like a comedic consultant. Like, come and look at the script for us." So I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting. It's my first time." I'm like, "Oh, all right." So we went to I think Elephant and Castle or Campbell or something, and
it's filmed in the South, isn't it?
Yeah, it was filmed in the South. Yeah, or maybe it was Brixton. I can't remember. So we're there now, looking through the script, and I was like, "Oh, this is good, man. I like it." Because it reminded me of like Desmond's. Yeah. You know, I felt like the Asians had Goodness Gracious Me. I felt like Caribbeans had Desmond's, and then later had Pork Pie. And I thought Africans didn't really have our thing. It's true. Yeah, well, you know, big up to Miss Jocelyn. Miss Jocelyn had some that was stuff fire, on TV, you know. But it wasn't an all African show. It was, you know, the great Miss Jocelyn kind of playing different characters, you know. And so that had, you know, stamped on it somehow. So not stamped on it, but I had put Africa on a map in some form, you know. But in terms of having like a full blown African family from Peckham, managing and making things work, it hadn't been done. So I remember sitting around that table and thinking, guys, this is a big deal, you know. And Andrew looking at me say, I know. So looking at the script, I was like, yeah, it was great. Some parts weren't, you know, whatever. And through conversation, you know, I came up with Pastor Michael, which is the character that it was like, yeah, but I don't think it's funny if the pastor's like really like, oh, come on, guys, let us all worship God. I think you'd need like a counter, somebody who's a bit weird, a bit rogue. Yeah. And then while talking about it, it was like, yeah, you know, Deborah jumped up. It was really exciting. And then they went away and they wrote Pastor Michael into the script. And I was like, Andy, look, do you wanna be in it? And I said, well, I came up with the character. I might as well be inside of it, isn't it? And yeah, and we did it. And yeah, it was doing it. I knew that it was part of history. I knew that this thing that we're doing is going to make noise, and thankfully it did.
Yeah. Let's even pause for a moment because, like, when was it actually out?
Man,
Because it's time ago.
Lord,
let's just say in the 2000 summer, innit?
Yeah. It was like I'll say early 20.
Is that 10?
I'll say 2010 maybe 2010 2011.
So yeah, you recorded it. Everything's calm.
Yeah.
I don't know if it maybe didn't hit as much as you wanted it to.
Yeah,
and then
lockdown
or around that sort of period of time, all of a sudden it's on Netflix. It
came
blows.
back. Like so it was. So when it was done, it was on a few African channels. Yeah. Ben TV, OBE, back in the day.
I think Yanga as well.
Yeah, exactly, Yanga as well. It was out and it was doing all right. And the Africans, it went into the churches and they were really excited about it. I think, and then it just went to Nigeria, and then it went to South Africa. And I believe it was like most watched comedy for like 6 weeks in South Africa.
Wow.
And it was really picking up, but like everything, growth isn't always, instant. I used to go to the farm when I was like 5-6 years old in Ghana, right? And so, there's different germination periods for different seeds. Do you know what I mean? So, like, if you plant corn or maize or whatever, it will take maybe 6-7 months and then it might come up. But if you plant like a mahogany tree, it takes like 40-50 years. So not every seed gives fruit straight away. So the show was a slow burner. I was doing its bits, and then obviously Andrew and Deborah were always pushing it because it was their bread and butter kind of thing. So they pushed it, and then they had a meeting with Netflix, and Netflix said, "Look, hey, we really like what you're doing. It's really good. We want to try out Netflix Africa and see how it goes." And then they tried it, and it went really well. And next thing I knew, it's on Netflix. So Andrew called me and said, "Yo, we're on Netflix, man." I said, "Bro, like 10 years later, we're on Netflix," or whatever the time was, and
how did that feel?
It felt really good because I hadn't been on Netflix. I had nothing that, I hadn't done anything that was on Netflix. So it was a big deal. It was like, yo, I'm on Netflix. That's cool. But more important than that, it was the fact that something that I had believed in the infancy stage that it was going to be part of history actually never died, and it's still here. Do you know what I mean? It's still here. Like, as in, there are people in America that watch it. I was in London Bridge last year, and I saw a woman and her daughter with an American accent. So it's like, oh my, it's him. Like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I was there for a meeting. I was hanging about waiting for the person to show up, and then the mom came to me and said, "Oh, I'm really sorry to bother you, but are you that guy? Are you do you have a show on Netflix?" I was like, "Yeah." It goes, and the girl jumps up. She goes, "It's him!" And I was thinking, oh, that's a bit wild. Americans are a bit wild anyway. But I was like, we took a picture, and she just says, "You don't understand, like, how my daughter loves the whole family loves that show, and your character, what that character does, it blows me away." And I'm like, wow. And I said, "Oh, are you from here?" "No, we're in America." And I said, "It's in America as well." It's like, listen, you don't understand how. And I was like, wow, I had no idea. It was a group of us trying to tell the story of the African family in the United Kingdom. And we didn't know that it was going to translate to anywhere else in the world because, Desmond is not an American show. It's a British Caribbean show. And everybody gets that story. So for me, it's very humbling to know that actually something that we invested time in, years ago, is still making the rounds now.
And you was one of the stars in the show, man. Like,
making people feel like this, man. It's good.
Yeah, like you and Funke, I think like the two of you.
Anti-Funke.
I don't think you need any other cast members. I respect all of them as well, innit? They're all good, innit? But
Funke fabulous.
You too.
Yeah, man.
Different, man.
Yeah, and it was a great shoot, man.
But even just the analogy he was given about farming, like, it's just so mad because that was just proof that whatever you have genuinely like sowed or planted, like you can reap it. You might not see it straight away,
100%,
but it might just take time.
100%.
And I feel like in a way we're in like a microwave generation, like a popcorn generation, where you want to see instant results. Yeah, and I feel like that little example, I don't want to say little, but that example is just proof that some things might just come later.
And that's is delayed gratification, and I don't think it's a thing right now. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't blame the generation now, because everything around them is microwave. Do you know what I mean? You take a picture, you can put a filter on it and upload it within seconds. Back in the day, you'd have to go to Olan Mills Studios. You'd have to go to a studio, take a picture, and then they'd have to put it on a USB or a floppy disk or what. Do you know what I mean? And then you'd have to. So the processes were truly longer. So which is what I was saying earlier. I don't blame them. I don't see anything wrong with it.
You understand?
I understand, because it's like, it's the processes of life. Like back in the day, to warm food, you had to put it back on the pot again. Ain't nobody got time for that. You're trying to warm up your food and out the house, you know. And then microwaves were done, so it's like, microwaves are bad for you. You should not be using microwave. It's very bad. But it's like these are just progressive things of life, innit? Do you know what I mean? I just feel that as adults in the communities, it's our duty to teach the community, or to teach the village, that actually we shouldn't just be gassed up about wanting things now, and things take a process. You know. And I think the higher you go in your life, or in your career, or whatever you're doing, the more you realize actually things take time. A lot of things take time. Even when they shoot a movie, they go into editing sometime for about a year, and then the movie comes out after a year. And I found out, I was listening to an interview the other day, and an American actor said they shot the movie, they finished the movie, and when they put the trailer out, it got a lot of attention. So they received more investments, and then they had to go shoot the ending again. So imagine you shoot a movie, it's in edit for a year, you release the trailer to get everybody excited, people love it, and you have to call the actors back again to come and reenact the ending scenes. So things take time. So while you're shooting for one movie, you got a movie out, but that movie isn't coming out for another 3 years or 2 years or whatever. Everything takes time. And it's a lesson that, you know, if you don't learn, you have to learn it the hard way. Does that make sense?
So that's the thing, like, people can struggle due to like impatient, innit? But 100%. Then that can lead you to making the wrong decisions.
1000%.
Because you want things quick. Even if you think about outside anyway, like everything, a lot of people want things like quick money, for example. But there's consequences for that as well, innit? So it's a hard one. But obviously we understand it as well. But you're basically saying that one thing you've learned is literally the benefit of having some sort of patience.
Waiting, man. Waiting. Yeah. The benefit of waiting is amazing. And sometimes you won't see the benefit straight away, because it hurts to wait, man. I'm not gonna lie. It hurts to wait. But that's why the benefits come. Do you know what I mean? As in, you know, you might, I don't know, some people might be watching this and maybe they're at uni or whatever, and I'll use an example. A friend of mine, when we were in uni, didn't want to move to uni and live in halls, right? But we were in halls paying someone's mortgage for them, because our rent was going to someone's house, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And at the end of uni, when we had student loan deficit in our bank accounts, he had £20,000 in his bank account. He waited. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we had a lot of fun in uni because we lived there. You know, you could go from lectures straight to like a motive or like an activity or whatever. But he had to get back home and do whatever he needed to do. And if there was an activity, he needed to plan to maybe stay in the area or maybe stay in someone's house or whatever. But in the end, you know, we had all these experiences that cost a lot of money, and he finished university with a lot of money in his account. It hurts because he had to go back. He had to ride that train back to Croydon. Do you know what I mean? Like, we just walked back to our house, or we took the free bus, the shuttle, to the halls of residence. But you had to walk to the train station, or take the bus to the train station, jump on the train, and go back home and live with mum and dad. You know, but and
some sacrifice, isn't it?
And that is it. So waiting isn't always fun, but when it pays, it puts smiles on faces, man.
But like, one of the things I was thinking about as well is that you've waited, but you've also worked hard as well, innit? Like, you're a very hard worker, you're very busy. How do you even balance your time, man? Because, like, has it ever taken its toll on your body at a point? Or have you just been fine, like militant? Like,
it's taken its toll. Okay. I used to be 6'5", but now I'm like 5'8". I'm trying, right? You know what? Like, my dad used to have this saying. He used to say, "My boy, hard work does not break bones." And so I've always had that. You gotta work hard, innit? It doesn't break bones. It might break mental, which is what I'm aware of now. So now you try your best to work a bit smarter instead of hard. But yeah, I try and make time for all the important things in my life. And that's why I'm busy. So it's not busy because I'm busy working hard. Does that make sense? Yeah. I'm busy because I make time for all the priorities that I have in my life, you know? And so that's what kind of keeps me a little bit busy. But at the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, Andy, is this the smartest way to work this? Working hard is good. You should work hard. It's part of, you know, it should be part of our makeup to just work hard anyway. Because working hard teaches you certain benefits, you know, grit, determination, you know, all of those kind of, you know, all of those things. But working smarter does the job as well. And it's crazy because not everybody who works hard makes it, but everybody who works smart does. Does that make sense? There are loads of people who are working very hard, you know, but they may not reach their full potential by working hard. But if they worked smarter, maybe it might be a case of actually the work that you're doing, you might need somebody else to do it. So you could pay them the money that you're being paid, and then be paid from their money too. Does that make sense? About like just employability or whatever, like not employability, but just the wisdom to be able to figure things out. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I was trying to think of like an example. Just gone blank, but
no, I get your point anyway.
Yeah,
but yeah, when you think about the black community, what do you say are the things that you're liking at the moment, isn't it? Because I feel like a lot of things has changed, innit? And there's a lot of things that maybe people aren't aware of, innit? Because I guess maybe it's not publicized that much, innit? But I feel like a lot of these things should be brought to the light, innit? So what are you liking?
What am I liking about the black community? Wow, that's tough, man.
If I said that, what you not liking, man?
No, not really.
No, but
not
not
really.
you, but I'm saying like some people.
Just normally, okay. Man, that's such a.
I feel that's a conversation we should have a bit more.
We do, yeah, because I mean, it's not that. Wow. So I've got children, and I take my kids to school every morning, and what I really love is that I worked in education for about 10 plus years as like a behavior specialist, head of year and stuff, and I always met mothers for meetings. The black mums always turned up for the meetings, but I never saw black dads.
Okay, yeah.
And it was crazy the unconscious biases that members of staff would have if a child was from a 2-parent home. Like, I say that because I would have certain conversations with somebody and an assumption would be made Do you know what I mean? It's like, so to answer your question, what I'm really, really happy about is the amount of black dads I see outside my children's school, bringing their kids to school. I love that. It's giving me goosebumps right now. I love it because it's like schools can't play with you when you've got a dad, respectfully. And this is not to say that they'll play with you if you've got a mum, no. But I'm saying they can't mess around with you because they know that there's a man that's gonna do you know what I mean? I don't care if it's controversial, man. But yeah, like if I knew as an educator that a child was coming from a 2-parent home, my approach to that child would be different.
There's more stability, you know.
There's more stability, there's all of these kind of things. And so what puts a smile on my face is that what also puts a smile on my face is just, you know, the acceptance of Afro beats. And just like how do you know what I mean? It's like, because the way I see it, it's
a big change, man.
Yeah, because the way I see it is like, I feel like music and food are like a great are great tools to kind of, you know, measure the mood of, you know, of a room or of a country, you know. Like one of the biggest foods or the most traveled food or the famous food in the UK is curry. But it's not an English thing. Do you know what I mean? So it tells me that Asians are accepted as part of the community. Does that make sense? Yeah. So whenever food is accepted, whenever language is accepted, whenever music is accepted into a community, it means that community has been embedded as part of the overall community. And the way I see Afro beats kind of like seeping into things, I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. So yeah, I would say the emergence or the popularization of Afro beats in Britain. I mean, you see TikTok and you see everybody dancing to making videos to Wizkid or, you know, David or any of those kind of, you know, Burner and baby, calm down. And everyone, you know what I mean? Everyone's just doing the routines. And you're like, it doesn't like they're all black, white, Asian. They're all
even hearing some songs where like it's clear it's not in English, right? They'll repeat it as well. Whether it's tree, whether it's pigeon,
have no clue, no clue. And I believe that the more, like I said, food, music embedded in the culture, for me, I see that as acceptance. So I like that.
Big transition, man. Like, I remember like back in the day, school times, only a few people will be listening to maybe whether it's Zonto or like people at P Square and all them. But to see how the attitude towards that sort of music has changed completely different, innit? And it's just everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And also the marriage between Afro beats and dancehall as well. I love it because you know, growing up in Hackney, there was a beef between Caribbeans and Africans. I was thinking, what? We're all the same, and that's me coming into the country as a freshie. Like, why are we fighting? We are all the same. Do you know? We all look the same. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and I'll shut up, man. You African? And I'm like, yes, I'm an African. So what? Do you know what I mean? And and seeing that, Stone Boy is featuring on tunes, and seeing that, the Burner is featuring on tunes, and Davido is kind of, and then Wiz didn't start reggae. Like, it's amazing. I'm like, we're getting together, man. It's cool. Yeah,
like, it's happening now, isn't it? Because I feel like
together.
People have acknowledged that the very things that they've been complaining about or wanting, it's actually happening right now.
100%.
You just haven't sat back to reflect.
100%. Yeah, but it's happening, man. Fuso DG had a song with one of the Marleys. Like it just it's been happening, man, and I love it. I think it's something that should be celebrated for sure. That we are uniting. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, 100%, man. But yeah, now to you, like in terms of your services and that.
Yeah.
You do many things in it, so how can people find you? What are your offers? I'm not talking about money. I mean, like in terms of the services that you offer.
Okay. Well, right now I would say what's really what I'm really doing more is more hosting. So if you have a wedding coming up, if you have a birthday party coming up, if you have anything coming up that needs a host for, give me a shout, man. And holler at me. AndySarfo.co.uk, AndySarfo.com. On socials, I am Andy Sarfo. And that is I am sorry.
Don't worry, I'll add it in, guys. Yeah, I did the description.
I was gonna fail. I was just about to fail English again. But I didn't fail English. I'm lying.
Yeah, like honestly, top entertainer, man. Like you'll see, he's got examples on his website as well. So I'll add that in as well.
Yeah, man. And yeah, I've got like there's a sitcom that I've been we're doing a pilot for. In a couple of weeks. I'm really looking forwed to that. I'm getting that.
Can you say what's good?
Sorry?
Can you say what's good?
No, I can't.
Okay,
I can't.
cool,
Yeah, I'm not able to say what's good. But I'm getting the same kind of feeling I had with Media the Band about this one. Yeah, so
okay.
I'm hoping, I'm believing that it's gonna be a smash.
Well, that's good, man.
Yeah, man. And
when
I got music.
Out?
I have no idea. I'm not involved
cool.
I'm not involved in that part of the field. I just need to get in the studio and remember my lines and bring to life the character and then we move. But
music.
I've got some music. I've got music out. Andy Sarfo on iTunes, Apple Music and Spotify and all of those
YouTube as
musical
well,
streams. Yeah, it's on YouTube as well. Yeah. So yeah, man. Yeah, so just tap in and see what's going on.
Yeah, man. Support him, man. Like he's already doing so much. Subscribe to his channel as well. You got a YouTube channel, innit?
There's a YouTube channel,
Follow him on Instagram.
Follow on Instagram.
TikTok. Twitter.
It's not called Twitter again, it's called X.
Hey, sorry, forgive me.
It's X. But yeah, man, so just follow me. And it's so weird to say that, follow me. Wow, there was a time in the world where following somebody was a crime. That's crazy. Right? There's a time where following somebody was a crime, but you can follow me and give me numbers. That's wild, man. Follow me. Anyway, so follow the socials and stay.
You got any weddings coming up this year? He's the man.
Yeah, for sure. This year, next year's. I've got a few next year as well already. So if you're getting married next year, you better holler quickly.
He's international as well, so take him abroad
up.
as well.
Because
we got people from abroad listening as well. So.
Oh, sweet, man. What countries do you know?
South Africa, Canada, USA.
Big up to my bros.
Even that, I'm like, right, like, you not listening, it's mad. Man. I think that's more like Spotify, though.
I see now. Big up, man.
Well, yeah, man.
Big up my SA guys. Big up my SA family.
Also,
I love South Africa, man.
What I was going to say to you, like, what's your final words of encouragement for your brothers and sisters? Imagine, even before you say that, just based on our conversation right now, what's one thing that you want people to take from it?
What's one thing people take away? Money isn't everything. Yeah.
Look at them.
I should look at them. Are they behind it? Yeah, behind the camera. Yeah. Hello, everybody. I welcome all of you. Good morning. Good morning. Money isn't everything, but money answers all things. So I would say that one thing that I would want you to take away is purpose is more important than anything you can amass. Anything you could amass, sadly, I've had quite a few people passing away who I would consider to be young. And when you think about the journey they've lived, they've done really well for themselves. But I wonder if they were given a chance to be alive again, if they would change their approach, if they would maybe spend more time with their loved ones than actually traveling all over the world and being famous and making loads of money. So that just tells me about your priorities. Prioritize the things that matter and not necessarily what gives you money, because money will come. But the people that you spend time with, you can't replace them. That is what it is, man.
Yeah, man. Like, you heard what he said. Very deep message that was. But overall, like, thanks for coming on, man. Like, your inspiration, your sensation, motivation.
Sensational.
Hey. But honestly, like his music is very good as well. So make sure you listen to it as well. But thank you for even just sharing some of your journey. You've mentioned some stuff that were difficult for you.
Yeah.
And I know being a Ghanaian that you are, like, you're a very private guy in it. As you're sociable, but you keep your information to yourself as well in it. But 100%. Thank you for using your experiences to just help encourage people and inspire them in their path as well. So onwards and upwards to you. Just make sure you keep doing your thing, keep shining, yeah?
Melanated and proud, baby.
Whilst you're alive, just keep utilising all your gifts, innit? You might even discover something new about yourself as well. So, I can see you going on to do talks, you know, I'll be real. You might be doing it already, but I can see you going on to do talks.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something you might tap into a bit more, but yeah.
Mental health professional, man. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to follow you, man.
And now I'm trying to follow you, bro. I'm trying to utilise everything.
DVT and you know, trauma informed and all these things. And yeah, man. But I love it. It's kind of opened my mind in so many different ways, man. Just like, that's why it's like that. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking at Dan Siegel and all of these guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
You're looking at how, like, all their concepts, and it's like, we are. Anyways, we're done, man. We're done. We're done.
But make sure you follow him, innit? If you enjoyed the conversation, make sure you like it. Also, let him know how you found this, because he's really just shared a lot. So comment below. But thanks for listening, guys, yeah? It's been a pleasure.
Blessings.